Now, it used to be the case that the old school tie would help you out. Is this diminishing, or do you think employers still discriminate against state school students?
Well, it depends. I don't think they discriminate as much at Coles as they do in the Supreme Court. You know, if you've looked at the educational background of every judge in Australia, they're pretty well all private school educated, which is very interesting that they sit in judgment predominantly of people who weren't.
Business is too competitive now. They just want the best person. And, you know, this idea that, I went to a certain school and therefore you'll get a job somewhere just doesn't wash anymore. In fact, if anything, in some of the places I've worked, you see that if you've been to a private school, it counts against you because people think, well, you've got a silver spoon in your mouth. And
that's sheer nonsense, Tom.
It is
I've
true.
never heard such nonsense.
I can tell you it's true.
If they do, they're silly. Any employer who discriminates against a student because of the school they went to is probably going to have a business that'll crash and burn because they're making really dumb decisions.
When I started newsreading in Brisbane, the previous newsreader to me was a part of the landed gentry, went to the top school, very wealthy family. And I was told quite explicitly that, gee, you're a good newsreader, Trace, but you don't have the family connections of your predecessor. So the sales department's not happy that you've been appointed.
Oh my God, wow.
Sorry, I'm just a bogan from Redcliffe. What do you do?
I think there's this sort of awful elitist class thing that comes in after a while, and it's all about networks and who you know and where your dad went, and I find that a bit creepy. You look at the UK and you sort of see all the political class and all the heads of industry and in the finance industries, they're all went to Eton. They all went to exactly the same place, you know, and so nothing ever changes because those same circles of privileged class people end up in the positions of power.
The socio-economic people that go to private school are usually more affluent and more successful. The parents I'm talking about here. So, and you build long-term relationships, and I think you build better ones.
It's a real Melbourne thing. You can be 50 in Melbourne and say, what school did you go to? I live in Sydney now, and it's just not a question you'd ask, and it's not something you'd even really look at on someone's CV.
So it's a Melbourne thing.
It's such a Melbourne thing.
I find the idea that a 37-year-old would still be putting on their CV that they attended St Fancy's Ladies Refinement College in primary school and that would make a difference. I find that laughable.
I went to Carey like Tom did, but I met Scotch blokes down at Point Lonsdale and I became mates with them. And when I got to university, we had a lot in common because we'd had similar types of educations and therefore we all became instant friends, and I've kept those friendships ever since. Well, I'd say to Tom and I'd say to all my children, the best thing you can do is give your kids a good education. And I think it's much better at a private school.